Hello everybody, this is Mr. Loy, your friendly D&T teacher. By now, you would have completed your table of design specifications because now we are moving to the next segment of the HBL lesson, which is on simple color rendering on your final design idea. Now take note that this demonstration is about sketching using pencil before you apply color rendering. The minus about this is when we run the outline of your final idea with pencil and then you apply the color, it is not real, it's not realistic, right? For example, if you were to look at this pointer here, right, it's made of wood, you will not see a pencil outline and then the color of the wood itself. You actually see the color of the wood on the outline itself, which means you should actually straight away use your selected color pencil and come up with the outline. However, we are not doing the final presentation drawing, which was mentioned in the PowerPoint slide, the last line there of our design project, where you may use Tinkercad and or your hand-drawn with color rendering. So for that presentation drawing, yes, you will use your color pencil directly. So this is just a activity on learning to use simple color rendering. So I hope you understand this point. Now for a start, I actually draw a rectangular template like this, all right, to guide me in coming up with my elephant Designer Toolkit Base design. You would have your rectangular drawn larger, okay, and you remember that the dimension is basically 300 by 200 millimeter, right? So the length is about 30 centimeter and the width, if you see it from the top view, the width is actually 20 centimeters. So please come up with that actual size rectangular template itself. Now, the reason why I do it scaled down is so that you can see how I actually come up with the 3D sketch. So imagine that this is your top view, all right? When you present it in an isometric view, you will actually see the left side of the Designer Toolkit Base, the right side, that is the thickness, and of course the top. This is our usual isometric view. So in that case, I will have to sketch a isometric axis like so. Okay, this is just a guide. So this is about the same width and this is about the same length. Now on your actual A3, you should actually draw it big, right? Draw it big. But I just want to demo here to show you that how you actually translate the sketch. Now this is all done freehand. Again, you may have stencils, you may have your French curves, all right, which will actually help you draw very neatly the outline of your Designer Toolkit Base. So for my case, I will just quickly come up with the general shape for you to have an idea, all right, on how it's done. Now, this is actually translated over to a so-called slanted view. The next thing is to provide the thickness. So from a flat top view, we've actually tried to present the thickness of the Designer Toolkit Base. So we transfer down to a certain depth, right? And we run the edge line across. Now this is done if you were to also create the isometric crate, or we call it the box, to guide you so that you do not go over the expected boundary. So of course you have to make an estimate here, all right? This is about the same thickness, so this is how much it is. Likewise here and here, this is the thickness, and here you will see some thickness, and of course over here you will see the thickness as well, right? Anywhere apart from here or this, you will only see the edge line, right? Because the thickness goes downwards, so you can't see the thickness over there. Of course, all this you will have the thickness. Now, simple color rendering doesn't mean that you cannot use the pencil. All right, pencil is of the color shades of black. You can actually do line shading. Where it's dark, you actually apply closer lines. Right, when the area here is brighter, you kind of like make the lines wider. Okay, so this one will have to require you to actually do a bit of trial and error and practice. Okay, and depends on how you see the object, where the light source is as well. So far you notice that I'm using just 2B pencil. All right, you may switch to other grades of pencil and do the line work as such. Now this one is just a quick example to show you, alright, because if you were to really do it, you will spend a little bit more time, and of course time is precious. We are just going to do a little bit of that. Okay, now from the previous lesson you would have seen that this is like the eye of this elephant. Alright, so when we mount or install the steady hand gain, we will have a light emitting diode, so probably this is where the LED will be positioned, and of course the buzzer could be mounted here. It depends on your Designer Toolkit Base itself, right? But these are some considerations that you need to show. So for 3/6, you actually make a through hole, all right, at least one, basically for you to place small stationary items like your paper clips, even some coins, maybe even staples, all right, or some pins. So for 3/5, you may or may not be required to make a through hole on the pine wood itself, right? Okay, coming back here, you can see that you will just have to run the lines darker for the outline, and you are going to add a little bit of detail. So this is one example of using the same pencil, all right, running lines through, and kind of like give it some texture feel. Okay, so this is just one example. Now assuming that you have actually done the vertical support, the wire shape or wire frame handle, the wire course, all right, I just mentioned the two components here. There may be a master switch somewhere, and of course we have the power supply. We also need to sit in the entire circuitry, all right, which houses the thyristor, okay, resistor, some wiring as well. So you present as much detail as you can. For color pencils, all right, obviously you should not invest in the very short ones because it's very difficult to hold and color. You can't do it this way, all right? So of course we recommend other kinds of color pencils, right? Or I have taken my daughter's one. So of course Jalutong, and which is the bottom base, and of pine wood is usually of yellowish and lighter gray color, all right? So probably I'll just select gold this time round. Now the rule of thumb is you try to start from one end to the other, okay? And the other point is that you color lightly, right? It's important that you color lightly. Reason being, if you color it dark, you can't make it lighter anymore. But if you color first round light, you can actually apply a little bit more pressure to make certain areas darker. So that's the reason. So once through, all right, do your best and you color through. Now, I've seen, or even myself as a student then, actually I press some straight edge if it's a straight edge, and then you know, you run a pencil tip and then it keeps hitting the edge of your ruler, all right, so that you don't let the color run out of the outline. Okay, so no one is stopping you from using the French curve as a guide for you to actually prevent your coloring from going out. And of course, some of us would prefer to actually color following the contour, right? So only do it around the little areas, but try not to crisscross. For example, you do not do this and then, you know, you're tired, then you try to shade here and then you shade there. I think you can actually see that this part here has been colored 3 times. Okay, so just take note of that. All right, there's no hard and fast rule, so just run the surface through. In this case, I selected this color, a bit yellowish gold. Alright, so you do the same. Of course, it'll take a long time. Alright, we don't have the luxury of time, so you just apply through the surface. For example, alright, this area is dark. Right, so of course you color with a slightly harder pressure. Okay, and then of course here you color light, trying to match the color evenly. Right, now the reason why is the effects like this because last lesson, okay, I already used this example. I actually use pencil line work here already. So the rule of thumb here is start off light, right, so that you can actually darken it if you want to. And of course, let's say the light source is over here, so this area here will be lighter. All right, down here is darker, all right, because the light so-called cannot reach those blocked area. All right, and of course here will be darker. Right, usually most of the top surface areas are being shown the light over. If you actually drill a through hole, of course the area down here will be darker, right? So you can actually darken it. So you can see that you're using one color at the moment. Now of course your actual final presentation drawing, you may have to present it as the top half jelutong and pine wood, and the bottom part as jelutong. So you may have to use 2 different colors. And of course, no one is stopping you. For instance, if you have eventually wired up the electronic circuit, your LED is a little bit red, then you apply red over the LED. And of course, for the vertical support, we are generally using pine so that it matches with the pine top half. So I end here for this simple color rendering activity. Before I end, I apologize. Your task is to transform your 2D shape to 3D form, not this small, right? You have an A3 journal, present it like so, okay? And then you can use the pencil to do the outlining. Remember, this is not the final presentation drawing. This is applying color rendering activity, kind of like an activity exercise for you to practice coloring. Okay, so of course control the pressure, and all the best. See you in the next segment.